welcome to the show here on this beautiful Wednesday, September 8th, 2021. We are just one official day away from probably actually the best day of the entire year. The NFL is finally back with NFL Game Day kickoff tomorrow with the Dallas Cowboys taking on my boy and the reigning Super Bowl champions, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, like I said yesterday, I thought about talking over that game today, all right. But after a quick thought, to myself, I was like, I'll wait. I'll do that tomorrow because we're on here tomorrow at 6 anyways, right? So the game doesn't start till 7:20. We got plenty of time. I'll probably only do 15 to 30 minutes tomorrow. We'll see how much information I want to get out there and probably talk about other games. Maybe tomorrow, depending on the situation for Friday, being that we got the Get Your Fix Fantasy Football crew, or some of the crew, wanting to get together possibly for the first week, where after week one, so next Friday is where we're really going to kick it off. So we might just talk about, some other key matchups to look forward to on Friday, but we'll see how things pan out for that. So today, though, we have some breaking news, okay, surrounding the Minnesota Vikings. And we're going to jump over, talk about that Hard Knocks finale, and then we're going to end with a little surprise. And if you already read the description, you know what that surprise is. So, with that being said, are you ready to get your fix? Well, right off the bat, we're going to start with that breaking news surrounding the Minnesota Vikings, who just extended right tackle Brian ONeil. Now, the extension is a 5-year extension worth $92.5 million, which puts him with the Vikings through the 2026 season. So 6 total years. He still has one more year left on his old contract, and then this 5-year extension will start taking a toll on the Minnesota Vikings cap space. All right? But basically, this is $18.5 million yearly average, all right? $22.6 million guaranteed at signing, so you got all that money right there. And then $53.4 million total guarantees, and then it's a $40 million cumulative cash through year 2. All right, so with all this being said right now, all right, basically all you got to know is Brian ONeil is now the second highest paid right tackle in all of the NFL. I'm not quite sure who he's behind. I should have looked at that, but hey, that's all right. Just know he's the second highest paid right tackle in the NFL. And this is big news, all right, for the Minnesota Vikings. And the point I'm going to make, all right, Brian ONeil is the most experienced, the oldest lineman the Minnesota Vikings have on their team, all right? I believe he's been with the Minnesota Vikings for 3 years. This will be his 4th season. A lot of them are going on year 2 or year 3. We even got some rookies there on the offensive line. So this is a very young offensive line for the Minnesota Vikings. Now, when you find a good one, you got to keep him. It's very, very hard, I believe, to find a superstar offensive lineman. And when you do, you don't get rid of them. Like, you never see these guys move. Like, Trent Williams, it took him how long? I want to say he did play with the Niners for quite some time. Maybe the Redskins, maybe, or something like that. Or Steve Hutchinson when he was with Seattle, and then he made his, ended his career with the Minnesota Vikings. And then you got, there's Joe Thomas, played his entire career as a Cleveland Brown, probably the greatest offensive lineman to ever play the game, okay, of football. All right, so it's very, very hard to find those pieces, and when you do, you want to make sure they're a part of your team for the long haul. Okay, this is huge for the Minnesota Vikings, signing right tackle Brian ONeil. He's been pretty solid, and I think really what this does is show that, hey, we got to build this chemistry. The offensive line has been, one of the key, points for every offseason, or going into every offseason, that, hey, we got to boost this a little bit better, give Kirk a little bit more protection back there and stuff like that. And, it all starts with chemistry on the offensive line. If you don't have any chemistry and you're just playing for yourself, you're going to be bad, okay? You need all the chemistry you can in order to, succeed in this league, and it all starts with that offensive line. If that offensive line falls apart, play's done. All right, you can forget about getting any yards, if one. Okay, so once you have that chemistry built, you want to keep it for as long as you have it. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys and New England Patriots, and arguably the Green Bay Packers are those teams, that have, historically had great offensive lines, not even great, just good offensive line, key offensive line players that are going to be there for 10 plus years, maybe 8 plus years or something like that, and are going to give your team, the ability to win more games than if, they were less, or if they had less chemistry, if you will. All right, so big news for the Minnesota Vikings, signing right tackle Brian ONeil. Okay, because look, we start Sunday, folks. All right, we don't have to wait too much longer. I believe let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 more days. We got 4 more days till Minnesota Vikings football. I'm pumped. I know all the Vikings fans are pumped as well. And if you're a fan of any other team, most games start Sunday for you, unless obviously you're a Dallas Cowboy or a Buccaneer or a Brady fan like me. Season starts tomorrow, day 1. I'll be pumped. I'm excited. I don't even know how much sleep I'll get tonight, let alone I don't know how fast time will go tomorrow. It'll probably be just dragging on. It'll hit 6 o'clock and I'll be like, all right, we'll do the show, and then just time will start ticking down, and I will be, I don't know, we'll see how the show goes tomorrow. I might be all full with, or filled with energy. We might start it off with a little bump. Who knows? All right, you just gotta stay with me here, okay? But hey, enough on the Vikings signing or doing this breaking news with right tackle Brian ONeil. We're gonna jump over to the Hard Knocks finale. All right, my takeaway from it. So, hey, when Hard Knocks start, all right, episode 1 came out, bam, loved it. It was awesome. Okay, we talked on the show a little bit. That I thought they hit a lot of key points, made it interesting enough to where you're like, hey, let's go watch episode 2. Episode 2 hits. You're like, really? Like, this is what you did with the second episode. You can do a little bit better. So then you're like, do I watch, the third one? Let's see what happens. Maybe it's a little bit better. We watch it, right? Episode 3 comes out. Garbage, all right? Makes you want to stop watching altogether. I did not. I kept watching. But remembering that episode 4 was here, or was there, was tough, all right? I missed. I had it literally last Tuesday, all right? I had to sit there, watch it like an hour before the show to really get an understanding of what it was, because I forgot. It totally blew my mind. I was like, there's probably nothing important going on today. Don't have to watch anything tonight at all. I can't remember. I did think about it, obviously, but it slipped my mind. I had other things I could watch that were more intriguing, more interesting to myself. But then I watched it. Wasn't the greatest. I was like, really, this is what they're gonna do. This isn't the Hard Knocks I remember back in the day when they were really diving deep into it. And I think that has to do with basically every team having their own social media outlet and showing videos of camp and all these breaking news and stuff like that. You already get to see kind of a slight in-depth look at what training camp is like for most teams, but where Hard Knocks kind of dives deeper, gets a little bit more storylines and stuff like that. All right, so I was like, you know what? This is the finale. All right, it better be good. Okay, it's the last fucking episode. Give me something good. Well, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. All right, absolutely fucking nailed it. Absolutely nailed this episode. I mean, it was a lot of action. You got to see them a lot, in training. You got to see the cut process, them bringing players in, saying, hey, look, you guys did not make the 53-man roster, but we would like to keep you on and bring you in to the practice squad or bring you on our practice squad and stuff like that. So that was really cool. And at the end, you got that whole Jerry Jones little skit, if you will, of him just kind of talking and getting ready for the season, getting all those goosebumps built into you with that music in the background. It was awesome. Go watch it. I'd give it at least a 4.5 star out of 5 for this Hard Knocks episode. I believe it was, if not better, exactly the same kind of feel to it as episode 1. So that's really pleasing to hear and pleasing to know that I actually went and watched it and loved it. All right, that was a good episode, very good episode. If they would have kept that episode 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 like that one, and episode 1, this would have been a hit. Hard Knocks, it would have been awesome, and the end product would have been just crazy. So I'm pumped that I watched it. It was great. It was a good Hard Knocks. Training camp's over. Season starts tomorrow. I'm pumped. We're going to get off here a little earlier than expected. There wasn't too much news, but like I said, we were going to dive into that Tampa Bay Buccaneers Dallas Cowboy game that is tomorrow. But we're going to dive into that tomorrow, obviously, on the show. A little bit deeper, kind of give you my thoughts, see if there's any last minute, injuries or, people put on the IR and stuff like that, and who's not playing and who is participating. So we'll get to that tomorrow, and maybe a little bit more stuff, probably not too much more. We could talk about a couple games, maybe the Vikings game going forward and stuff like that. But with that being said, we're going to jump to my surprise, right? Not really a surprise, if you will. But this year's Super Bowl, all right? Everyone's, starting to get that groove of who do you think's going to win the Super Bowl? Do you have a team that you think is going to go and blah, blah, blah? Well, I'm not going to pick a winner, okay? I'm just not going to pick a winner. The Super Bowl's a really hard game, okay, to pick, like, an outcome, okay? Like, the game is one team versus one team. Records don't mean nothing. Anything can fucking happen, and it will happen. Like, it's just how the game goes. I mean, last year we seen Tampa Bay's defense absolutely, make Mahomes look like human. Like he was actually human. He wasn't, immortal, or yeah, that's what I'm going to say. I don't know. But you get what I'm saying. It's really hard to choose a winner, but I'm going to give you guys my Super Bowl teams, the teams that are going to be participating. One team for the AFC, one team for the NFC. So we'll start with the easier division. All right, the AFC. There's two teams that really, really stick out in my mind, okay? And it came down to these two. It came down to the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. Now, if they end up playing each other before the AFC Championship game, well, that would suck. But one of those two teams, I was like, one of them's gonna go. Okay, Patrick Mahomes is on this crazy run. They did lose, a couple offensive linemen, brought some, decent, solid offensive linemen back, to keep that line from, screwing up too much. But then you look at the Bills. Okay, last year, they made it to the AFC Championship game, lost to the Chiefs. It was right there, right in front of them, and it just went away. So I feel like they got a fire lit under them that they're just going to go out there and really put it to any team this year and give a lot of teams a run for their money. And I do think out of those two teams, the Buffalo Bills will give the Chiefs a run for their money and are going to head to the Super Bowl, which will be played in Los Angeles. I believe it's Super Bowl 53 or 54. I think it's 54, but I'll have to go check on that again. I can't remember. I think 52 was Minneapolis, so 53. I think it's 54, but it is in Los Angeles. But I have the Bills for the AFC heading to the Super Bowl. I know it's big, especially over Mahomes, but I feel like, Josh Allen, he's starting to get a lot more comfortable. Diggs will be in his year 2. That offensive line is really good. Their defense is stellar. They got Tremaine Edmonds. They got, who's that corner over there? He just signed a big one. I think I might have said it, but you get what I'm saying. Buffalo Bills, for me, are going to the Super Bowl for the AFC. Now, the NFC was a little tougher. I had to go down a list. I was like, okay, that NFC West division is really, really good. If any one of them gets hot, they're going to stay hot, and they could go far, like the 49ers did 2 years ago, right, when they won the NFC Championship, went to the Super Bowl, lost to the Chiefs. Okay, so that NFC West division is really, really packed. You look at the NFC East, all right, you got, the Eagles, the Giants, or no. I want to say that might not be the East. That might be the South. But, all right, so yeah, I think that's the South. So you got the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Washington football team, and then you got Eagles, Giants, Cowboys, Reds. God, I always say Reds because I don't know why. Washington football team, all right? Not very good at all. None of them are really, factors. Like the Cowboys could have all of a sudden blow up out of nowhere, which, I doubt it. They're going to lose week 1 against Brady. I mean, they are missing, right guard or right tackle, Zach Martin off of COVID. We'll see how he's just not going to play. We'll see how the Cowboys do without him. So then you look at Washington. They have a really good defense. They could play really well. They could possibly have a chance, but I think they're more of a playoff team, maybe 6th, 7th team to get into the playoffs. I don't see them doing much. Obviously, one of them is going to have a higher seed because they have to win their division. They'll be 1 through 4. It's just how it is. But then you go look at the NFC North. We see going anywhere, I think, on it. All right, the NFC Championship match is going to be that one that, with Tampa Bay bringing literally every single dude back that they won the Super Bowl with last year, plus some, that's ridiculous, okay? They are going to be hungry. And a lot of teams, it's hard to win back-to-back. I don't think it's ever been done, okay? So, Tampa Bay could be that team. This could be a very huge storyline. Watch Tom Brady win it right off in the sunset. 8 rings. Dude's just the GOAT, by the way. Sorry, Rodgers. But, hey, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I have to say, are going to beat the Green Bay Packers in that NFC Championship game, advance to Super Bowl, and will play the Buffalo Bills for one of the greatest Super Bowl matchups in history. At least I believe so, or believe it could be. But I'm not going to pick a winner. Because if it does get down to that point, I have to cheer for my boy Brady. But I think both teams are very capable of winning. The Bills with their explosive offense, their very solid defense, and you got Tampa Bay with that offense that could go off, all right, and that really, really consistent defense that always, we've seen them last year against the Chiefs. It's going to be that same starting defense. A little bit better, all right? They stopped the Kansas City Chiefs' explosive offense, made Patrick Mahomes run like 500 yards before throws. So, we'll see what happens. If it gets to that point, when it gets to that point, we have 18 weeks before, playoffs even get started. So, those are my Super Bowl teams, the Buffalo Bills, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that is going to do it for this show today, as tomorrow cannot come soon enough. 7:20 Dallas Cowboys versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We will dive into that tomorrow at 6, or beginning at 6, and we'll probably dive into a couple more games going into the weekend, maybe some college football as well. So with that being said, enjoy the rest of your night and your evening. We'll see you tomorrow for, like I said, a quick overview of the game, and you just got your fix with the Wicks. Thank you, guys.